your trust issues was because of you,
not
because of me.
Heavy because of me.
And like a lot of people do that. They have this distrust, but it's not really with the person.
Yeah.
It's really within themselves that they have that issue.
I had that internal conflict.
Yeah, and then they're projecting that on the other person. Like, right. I'm really glad that you said that example.
It's recording.
I know it's ready.
Okay.
So the big question is, how did we build trust in our relationship?
How did we do it?
How did we do it?
We do it. Well, so when it comes to building trust, I think what we did right out the gate was we asked a whole lot of questions, like self-discovery type questions that allowed us to really get to know one another. And I think what really kind of helped magnify that was, in the beginning for us, we were really just trying to get to know one another. So there was no real friction there to keep us from being like dishonest. You know what I mean? We were really just trying to get to know one another. But when it came to like really building trust, I think because we gotta go way back.
Go way back then.
What really started to happen was when we were met with different situations, like for example, when I had the whole situation where I got arrested and you had to take me home because my license was been suspended, like you showed up for me like in moments like that. Or you had situations that were going on with your family and stuff, and you confided in me to be there for you in those moments. And so it wasn't necessarily any one particular thing that allowed us to build trust, but being there for each other, showing up, showing that we care, listening in a way that was effective, and also supporting each other the way that we needed it. You know what I mean? And we did that consistently over time.
Yeah.
Because you can't just hop up and immediately think that a person is going to have trust. So we were met with a lot of friction. And we were given multiple opportunities to show up for one another.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened over a long period of time.
Yeah.
That allowed us to build trust.
Yeah, I think that's literally what I was going to mention. There were so many opportunities for us to exercise trust. Like we had some crazy situations together, and we always showed up for each other on a consistent basis, and it just compounded, on each other. And I wouldn't say it was easy, but it was kind of easy because we just made sure we were always there for each other. So it's hard not to trust you, after showing up for me the way that you often do, so.
And I think, I know, even though in the beginning of our relationship, like there was a lot of self-doubt and insecurities and different things like that, we confided in each other even within those moments. And you were always like reassuring me that you were there for me, that you were going to be a good friend to me. Like there were all these different moments because I know like I had all types of different insecurities. I'm like, man, why this beautiful, badass girl, like giving me like the time of day. I'm like, bro, she trying to play me, whatever. Like I had all of this going on in my head, and I was just like, I'm gonna do my part, but I don't know if I really have this woman the way that I think I do, whatever. There was a lot of room in all of that for me to self-sabotage, to ruin a lot of different things or whatever. But even in doing that, I really had to lean into the fact that you were going to care for my heart, my feelings, my emotions or whatever. And I had to basically take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And you never fumbled that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And vice versa, because you had, I know in the beginning, a lot of internal issues that you were dealing with also. And we kept giving each other opportunities to show up for one another.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, it's like it becomes undeniable.
Yeah, and we knew each other so well. We got to know each other very quickly because we asked those very hard and uncomfortable questions from jump. I knew you were a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard. Like, so I knew you were a good guy from jump, and then you kept showing up for me. So like I said, stuff, it just compounded on each other. It's like I know he's a good guy, so it's hard not to trust you because you're just a good dude. You know, you're a good spirited person.
Right.
So I think like knowing the nature of who you were at the core, it just made it even easier to just trust you.
Right.
Trust you at your fucking word. If you say some shit, I believe it.
Right.
And even to this day, you say something, I believe it. Like, I don't, there's not a single doubt in my mind. When you say something's going to happen or you want something done, you're going to do it, and I don't even got to think about it.
Right.
Yeah, it's just fact. When you say it, it's fact, period. Yeah.
Look, just to further like kind of expose how real this was, like, I'm going to let y'all know something, right? Your boy was really tripping at a time period in our relationship. I remember there was a time back at Fort Hood. Actually, not a time. There was a lot of times.
Oh, Lord.
We used to go out a lot.
Oh, Jesus.
We used to go out a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like, and it used to be to the point to where, like, even for me, before she even got there, I knew so many different, like, I could go to the club and I could just go by myself because I knew so many people there.
Yeah.
And, of course, early in our relationship, there might be different times where I don't go out and she might and be with her friends or people, you know, that she's met, whatever the case. My super insecure self, because I told you, like, I was already head over heels for this girl long before we were anything. But what I used to do is I would hit up people that I knew was going to be in the club, and I had them watching her.
Stalker.
Basically.
Oh, my God.
I was like, hey, dog, she in there, she wearing XYZ or whatever, like, make sure she good, man. Make sure ain't no crazy stuff happen. Like, hey, man, what you see? And it'll always be like, bro, she chilling, bro. Like, she with her
with
friend.
my girls, yeah.
You know, or she doing whatever. Like, and I'd be literally up. I may as well have went out my damn self. I'd be sitting over here, man, and I'm getting 3-4 text messages or whatever. Like, man, your girl, she straight, bro. She good or whatever. And everybody be sending me, like, the same report. Your boy was borderline crazy. But, like, in insecurities.
It's not borderline, baby. That's.
Call it what you want to.
Okay.
Insecurities was heavy. Because I'm telling you, like, even though I didn't tell her a lot of this until a long time after the fact. But anyway, like, because I'm not perfect by no stretch. And even in the beginning, like, I had a lot that I had to get out of the way so that way I could be right for you. Mm-hmm. And so that way, you know, we could be right for each other.
Right.
And I knew this type of stuff was problems. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to figure out how to best become the person I needed to be so that way I could have you, because I knew I wanted this woman to be a part of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so trust had to be a big part of that. Yeah. It had to be. And I had to get a lot of my insecurities out the way. I had to get a lot of the self-doubt and the judgment, all of that stuff out of the way so that way I could eventually allow myself to be transformed and to become who I felt like you needed, and so that way I could be somebody I was proud of.
I think it's very important that people realize you pointed out your trust issues was because of you, not because of me.
Heavy because of me.
And like a lot of people do that. They have this distrust, but it's not really with the person.
Yeah.
It's really within themselves that they have that issue. I
had that internal conflict.
Yeah, and then they're projecting that on the other person. Like, right. I'm really glad that you said that example, because that's some real shit right there.
Because all of that stuff was on me or whatever. Like, right. And I had never even been around somebody who was so caring and genuine. And the fact that, like, no matter what was even happening that day, like, we borderline, like we was together all the time. All the time. Like, no matter who you went out with or any of that, like, you was always coming back to come see me or whatever. Like, you would be out, you would be texting me. Like, there was nothing that even gave or presented the slightest hint of like a red flag, like ever.
On my end, yeah.
Yeah, but like I had those issues.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, red flag. But that was before red flag was a thing.
You know, and I won't even sit here and deny that. I won't deny none of that. Like I came with a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Like character wise, I had a lot of bad habits, traits or whatever. You was patient with me. Granted, I think I was good enough to at least to know to never push any of that stuff on you, and you were patient with me.
Yeah.
And you gave me that time to evolve, and I think you were also very aware of the fact that I was trying to become better.
Yeah.
And so I think even the fact that I was doing that for you and also for myself was another way of displaying trust.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, that's me also saying that I trust your thoughts and your opinions about these character traits being negative or being harmful to you, or you can be better than that. And me taking that and not saying that, oh, you judge me or whatever, is that you see more in me than what I saw in myself.
Yeah, and I definitely did. I saw so much potential in you.
And that was one of the biggest things about how unique our relationship was, because even when you used to tell me like certain things you didn't like that I did, I would always ask myself is, do I need this habit or do I need this character trait so much or so bad that me leaving it alone or keeping it outweighs me being with this woman?
Mm.
Or does it make me better if I get rid of it?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting over here comparing, like, what's the pros and the cons? If I stop doing this, is it really taking anything away from me?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if it's not taking anything away from me, but it's also getting me closer to, you know, the woman that I want to have at some point, I'm winning. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need this.
Yeah,
like
it's making you better and it's getting you what you want out of it. You know.
Yeah.
So
and so
you definitely winning.
Yeah, but like I think it's having the abundance of opportunities to display and show trust, because you can't really do much of that with just words.
Right.
So it's when opportunities are presented for you to be able to display that, and the actions from the person are consistent over time, that they show up, that they do, you know, what they say that they're gonna do. That when you show up and you can be somebody that, you know, that each other can depend on.
Right.
When you handle a person's feelings with care, when you listen to them, when you're able to be somebody who literally, you know, you can confide in, and you can confide in them just like they can confide in you.
Right.
Like doing things like this over time, it makes trust undeniable.
Right.
And it makes you want to give that, it makes you want to give more of yourself to that person. And I know that we've experienced a lot of that on both sides.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so I had a lot on that.
That you did.
I did.
You did. I liked it though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed hearing your side because it's something we don't talk about. It's like understood, but we don't talk about it. And that's why I like these questions, because I really get to understand your perspective on it. And
I know a lot of the trust stuff was my problem.
Yeah.
Like, because I
didn't have a problem trusting.
Yeah,
you I never had a problem trusting.
Yeah, like it wasn't really ever an issue on your side, but I think it was. I had a lot of problems and issues trusting me. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't think I was good enough for you. Mm-hmm. I didn't think I could go down a list. You know, I could really write out a list, but at the end of the day, it was really a whole lot of. I was trying to project all of those things on you that were creating problems. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I really locked in with myself and really started to weed out some of my negative thoughts, my negative habits and different things like that. And I saw that I could really trust you with who I was completely. Mm-hmm. It allowed me to be able to let go and stop resisting. And then be able to give in to myself and give in to you. Right. I was like, hey, you know what? Like, you don't have to treat this woman like that. Mm-hmm. Like, she doesn't have to be the recipient of your self-doubt, your insecurities, and all of those different things. Like, just because it's happening in your mind doesn't mean that it's actually happening in the physical world. Right. And I had to really maneuver through that.
Right.
And
so I want to bring up something. I think I did have an issue with trust, but it wasn't with you. It was with myself. And it was at that point where we were kind of like transitioning from like best friends to like dating or whatever, that small window of dating. Because I wasn't sure if I would be able to be that woman that you needed, like at that level. And especially when we started talking about being married, I'm like, I'm not sure that I can be the wife that he needs so he can become the man that he wants to become. But it was never about you. It was always about me and my own internal like conflicts on not believing that I could live up to my end of the bargain, I guess you can say. But it was, again, that was just me trusting within myself that I could help you get to where you wanted to be, that I could love you the way you needed to, the way we could level up the way we needed to. But yeah, it was all me on that end.
And that's like fear, doubt,
yeah,
all type of stuff, you know, like, because I don't think nobody's really ready, regardless of what you tell yourself, like nobody's really ready to take such a leap, you know, in a marriage, like, because you really got to become a completely new person.
And we were so young.
Yeah,
we were so young.
You really have to like die of yourself and like be reborn as like not even to sound mystical, but it's true. Like everything that you were independently, you no longer get to be all of that alone. Like you can carry some of it, but everything, even that person is, it has to be. You have to be mindful of who that person is, and how you handle that person within the confines of the partnership.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely, that's a great. You just worded that very well.
I'm trying to do stuff.
Yes, come on, illustration. I love that. I love that for you. You said that. Okay, I kind of like messed up the whole. That was good. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, man, it's been a learning process. Like, and I think, really just kind of sticking with the subject. Like, trust is definitely one of those things that takes time, and the only way to really build it is for opportunities to arise to be able to display trust.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to be willing to release like resistance against letting somebody try. And then also understanding that either they gonna, you know, rise to the occasion or they gonna fumble it. Either way, one of them gotta happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like really being willing to lean into that and just let it happen, and being okay with the outcome.
Yeah.
Because you can't control the next person, but hoping that whatever you've established with that person is something meaningful on both ends. So that way you'll know that you're taking this chance with the right person.
I agree. That's good.
I love you.
I love you.
And I trust you.
I trust you too.
I know
you know that.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, so shit. I trust you.
Yeah,
I trust you.
Heavy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually pretty crazy.
Anyway, it works for us.
It works for us, yeah. Like blind trust. Like whatever you said is what it is.
Yeah, it's irresponsible.